Coach, you had your first look at the freshmen against a top 10 opponent. How did you think they fared and handled themselves?
Handled themselves really well. As I said after the game, not surprised. You know, a lot of confidence in those guys. They have a lot of confidence in themselves. You know, they've been here a while now. I mean, since we started in June and we played 3 games overseas, so they had that luxury. But you're right. I mean, it was the first time hostile environment on the road. But they're not a group that panics. They kind of stay the course. And, you know, freshmen are going to contribute as we expect them to. That's what has to happen.
How is Peyton doing, and do you expect him to play tomorrow?
Yeah, he'll play.
He'll play.
Lodgy, the three-pointer, is that something you knew was in his game, or is this?
Yeah, he's always been a good three-point shooter. You know, you look at him and think, well, he's a bruising power forward, and he can play that way. I mean, he can back down, and he gets traffic rebounds. He's big and strong, but he's always had really good perimeter skill. He can put it on the deck. Doesn't panic if teams are pressing or trapping him. Really good passer and really good shooter.
How will that make him harder to defend then as he moves on?
It gives us a lot of flexibility because we can move him around. You know, we can play him at 5 if we have to, but you know, he's primarily a forward that can stretch the floor, runs really well. He's a really good athlete. He was somebody that, you know, when we started recruiting him, we felt like he could really be special, and he's proven to be that.
What's Lodgy's personality like?
Pretty quiet. Yeah, pretty quiet. You know, and I think some of it might come from you know, how he has grown. I mean, you think about it. He spoke French growing up, and then he spoke Spanish when he was in Barcelona. And then when he went to Jersey, he was speaking English and Spanish because he was living in community with Spanish-speaking folks. Then he comes here and everything's English. So just a delightful guy, great personality, great smile, but on the quieter side.
Ben, obviously a skilled big, but just automatic from mid-range the other night.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know, how good he is at that. Whether it's a floater or a pull-up, or he uses the glass really well. And, you know, he never stops moving, so he's open a lot.
You hear a lot that the mid-range game is a lost art. Do you agree with that? Because, I mean, Ben and Patrick play. Do you think there's
Yeah, I think
less
it
of
depends on who's shooting it. You know, I mean, some guys are really good at it. We've had some guys that were really gifted in that area. I mean, you know, Gatens was a terrific three-point shooter, but he could shoot the pull-up. Marvel could shoot the pull-up. I mean, we had a lot of guys that had the total green light. I mean, I think Gasol was a better pull-up jump shooter than he was a three-point shooter. He's pretty good at both, but you know, I don't, you know, put that kind of doubt in their mind, like, you know, don't shoot this shot. You know, in the pros, it's kind of gotten away with analytics, layups and dunks, or layups, dunks, and threes. You know, really the only shots that they want you to take. But you know, if you have Steph Curry, you can shoot wherever he wants. You know, stuff like that. So it's kind of like, I don't really say much. To me, if you're open, shoot the ball. You know, and some coaches get hung up on, well, you know, why would you shoot an 18 or 19 footer? You know, that's a bad shot. As I said, it depends on who's shooting it.
Did you know that was in his game coming from Valpo?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what league you're in. That's a really good league. We all know that league. He led the league in scoring. So we watched a lot of film on him before we signed him. I should say before we offered him, but it was a no-brainer, you know, for what we needed and what he brought to the table. I mean, his activity, running the floor, moving without the ball, making plays for himself, making plays for other people, and relentless ability to you know, if he misses a couple, or just get right back to it. You know, nothing lingers on him.
What did you learn about your team the other night? I mean, Creighton's a top 10 team. You're on the road to be in it down to the very end. I mean,
yeah, you know, you can't quick shoot the ball on the road. That would be the only negative. You know, they hit 4 threes in a row. We missed a fair amount of shots in a row. they're running transition back at us, which is what everybody knew they would do. So sometimes you need longer possessions. As much as we kind of go and shoot the first open shot, nobody took a bad shot, but maybe under those circumstances, a longer possession would have been better. So you learn from that. It's, you know, you get down 7, you can't get down 17. It makes it really hard.
Patrick, theoretically, like this offseason could have been done playing college basketball. I think at Big Ten Media Day, he said like he just, it was something he had to think about. What were the conversations like with him this offseason, just trying to decide what he was going to do?
I mean, to me, he was always going to come back. You know, it was a more difficult conversation the year before with Connor, who'd been here 5 years. That was a more lengthy conversation than this one. He needed to come back, and he loves the game, and he's really worked hard. You know, you look at his body and how it's changed over the years, and that's been a more difficult process for him than it would be for other people. So you know, he needed to be able to get his body to where it is and then go perform. I think he also knew that this team needed leadership, and he could provide that. So I'm really thrilled he's here, and he's doing a terrific job in all of those areas.
Couldn't he come back again?